welcome to another episode of the Studio 78 podcast. I am your host, Nache from NacheSnow.com. Welcome. Oh my God, it's been an amazing week. I always get messages, private messages from you guys about several of the guests I've had on. So I always enjoy receiving DM messages and emails. So thank you. Keep them coming because it just helps keep me motivated. In particular, Jen Hewitt's episode, you guys loved that episode. I have like a lot of creatives I know that listen to the podcast. So you guys really appreciated that one. So thanks for the love there and sharing and listening to it. She was great and she dropped all kind of gems. So if you haven't listened to it already, definitely after you listen to this episode, check out episode 95 with Jen Hewitt. So this week I have on Marie Saint-Cyr, and I saw her work on Instagram and I'm like, oh my goodness, I love what she's doing. So she is an up and coming artist and she is doing, oh my goodness, like all of the things. Like she's doing, she has like an art practice, and then she's also doing some consulting while also juggling other jobs like working at a preschool, working at an art gallery, being a program associate. So I just love that she is really going all in and really trying to figure out like how she can make a living doing what she loves. So her story is really, really incredible. And then her kind of like Caribbean inspired art too is just super beautiful. So can't wait till you guys just check out her work because I think you will also think it is amazing. So just a few housekeeping items. If you have not already, please subscribe to the podcast. I'm everywhere: Stitcher, Spotify, YouTube, iTunes, or Apple Podcasts, I guess they want to be called now. So I'm all the places. So wherever you're listening, please hit subscribe and also sign up for my newsletter, NacheSnow.com. There's a pop-up for a free brand guide. Or if you just go to the homepage, you could get a free printable weekly goal planner. So definitely sign up, get some free goodies. I'm all about the free stuff. All right, so let's get into this episode. Know that we talk about like her art fellowship. We talk about, a little bit of my favorite topic, which is how to stay organized and track your finances. We talk about how she's starting to build this art program. And then we also talk about the power of networking. That is huge, y'all. It can just open so many doors for you. So definitely putting yourself out there and just not on social media will allow you to get noticed. But anywho, I hope that you guys enjoy her story and that you also support her as an artist. Here we go. So Marie, before we kind of dig into how you create these beautiful paintings, can you just tell us just a little bit about you?
All right. Well, I moved here at 8 years old from Haiti with my mom and my younger sister. I grew up on Long Island, mostly in Westbury. Went to the Fashion Institute of Technology, studying visual arts. And I did a month studying abroad in Florence, Italy, which really helped me gain some independence and feel more like self-confidence. And I graduated last year. And what else? So within the span of the year, it was a bit tough at first because I wasn't really sure what I was, I knew what I was going to do, but nothing was set in stone. But my gut was telling me that everything was going to be fine. So right after graduating, I remember I did literally actually on the day of my graduation, I was in a car accident, which still affects me now. But then 2 days after that car accident, I had to start a mural. I was assisting an artist with a ceiling mural. And I had a choice to make and back out at the last minute or to just keep going because I already made the commitment. So I just was like, I'm going to spend the next 18 days working on this ceiling mural, even though it's going to be crazy for my neck. But it got done and it was beautiful and it was an amazing experience. And that really helped me figure out, like mental strength over body is what I usually tell myself. It's all about the mental mindset. After that, I got accepted for a 6 months art management fellowship at downtown Brooklyn, which was really great because honestly, I remember I started preparing for it a whole year before I applied. Like I had reached out and they were like, we're not sure if we're going to be doing the fellowship again. And I was like, well, they didn't say no. So I spent a year preparing and doing like various volunteer positions to get more like admin experience so that when I applied, I would have some experience to talk about. And thankfully, I was one of the 4 people accepted. So we spent about 6 months working in 2 big art organizations. One was Mark Morris Dance Group, and the other one was Brick Arts Media. Really learning the arts admin, like fundraising, marketing. We had classes, mentorships, a lot of resources provided to us, which was just amazing. And this was all free, and they were paying us to do this. So one of the things I'm like a big advocate for is like trying to get like free education, like try to find the spaces out there that are providing all the information you want for free. And just go for it. And then after I finished the fellowship, I had another big decision to make to either stay in the city where there was, an abundance of art opportunities, or to come and work in Long Island where there's really not that much. And my gut feeling again was telling me to go to Long Island. So I took that leap of faith, and I spent about a month. I wasn't really working. I was like looking for stuff, but I was pretty smart where I didn't take any like vacations or anything like that during the fellowship. So when I got paid all the extra money, that covered me for the month. But the amazing thing right now is while I'm in Long Island, I was able to find position as a program associate at an arts organization, Westbury Arts. I'm not working at an art gallery, and I'm currently also working as a TA at a preschool. And throughout the past couple of months, what I've been doing is I've also been setting up the foundation for my business, which is designing and managing art programs. So in February, I design and manage a winter break art camp. And then in the summer, I also design and manage a summer break art camp for the town of Nache through the Nache Plaza Association. And right now what's happening is I want to continue doing that for like youth centers, schools, doing like teaching artists throughout Long Island. So I have people who are reaching out to me who want to set up art programs in spaces that they have, and they're looking for someone to basically manage all the aspects of that, where I would hire the people, create the curriculum. Mostly I teach them. If I can't, I would hire someone to teach them. So I really feel like I made a good decision following my gut to take the leap and to stay on Long Island. And I think that's a big thing. I always tell people, like, my gut told me to come and talk to you, or but like I was at an event 2 days ago, and the whole time I just had a feeling like there was someone that I knew. My gut was like, you have to like congratulate her on this, because she just got a nonprofit. Like I was like, you have to congratulate her before you leave and all that. And I was like looking for her, and I'm tired. And I went and I was just saying, congratulations. And we ended up talking for like a whole hour later. And it ended up being that, she's working on a project that where I've been trying to reach a specific client, but she has a connection to them. So now we're like talking, I can work on this with you to help me introduce to this person that I've been trying to reach. And it's as if like, my gut was saying like, you and her will be collaborating on something, but you really have to like talk to her tonight. So it was really good that I really like kept pushing, trying to find her before I left to say hello, because it led to a great conversation and collaboration for the future. So yeah. I guess that's a bit of my background.
That's a lot. I want to dig into. I mean, because you had a lot of crossroads, right? I mean, in a very short period of time. So the other kind of like crossroads, right, is your decision to stay, in New York or go back or go to Long Island, which is huge, right? Because it's like if you're in a city, like that's like where
The
everything
art.
is happening, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But also, though, it could be a problem because you could get lost because there's so many other artists there too, right? Like you could get kind
Yeah.
of like caught up in the noise. So I feel like there's like pros and cons there. But how did you touched on it a little bit, but how did you like really work through that decision? Because that really has started you now on like the path that you're currently pursuing.
Yeah, I think I did a lot of thinking, and I realized that I'm the type of person that really likes to start things from the ground up and build it up. And, in the city, everything has kind of been established, and there's a lot of good opportunities, but I wanted to kind of like start things. And when I was thinking about, it reminded me of the story. I don't know if it's a story, but I remember when I heard like it was like two people went to a town looking to sell shoes, and one of them was like, the people there don't wear shoes. We can't do this. And then the other one was like, they don't wear shoes. This is a great opportunity because now we can introduce them to shoes. And so I was looking at Long Island as a great opportunity where, if they don't have that, they have established things, arts wise, but I'm thinking more of like arts within youth centers, doing teaching artists within schools, which they have a lot in the city, and I really appreciate. And I noticed the value that those programs brought and within the city, and I wanted to bring those to Long Island. And I feel like me as a person who enjoys doing a lot of different things at the same time, I would prefer to start something and, handle all aspects of it rather than working within one department at a bigger organization. And so that's why I was like, I'm going to come to Long Island and create these programs. And I also like the freedom of being able to, learn as I do it and to make them my own. And the good thing I'm saying is, it's having impacts with the programs I'm doing. People really appreciate them. The students are pretty impacted. So I feel pretty good about the decision that I made.
Now, also what I think is interesting is you're wearing a lot of hats, right? I don't know if I got to write all of them down, so you can let me know if I'm missing something. But I think you mentioned you're a program associate, did you say?
Yes.
You're working at an art gallery. You're
Yes.
a TA at a preschool. And then you're also starting your own business. Is that correct? Did I catch all of them?
Yeah, and the other thing within the business is there's two different aspects of it where I have the arts practice, so like selling paintings, doing murals, things like that, and then I have the more consulting, which is the more service, designing and managing the programs, putting together art classes for people to attend. So but I feel like I always tell people personally, my brain works best when I have multiple projects to work on. I don't know why, but I think it's just the way it's wired. It has this funny thing. When I had 1 month when I was searching for jobs and I had nothing to do, I was home all day and I hated it so much because I didn't have anything. I had things to do, maybe one or two, but my brain could not focus. I honestly could not focus on anything. So I just did nothing. But as soon as I remember I had 2 extra positions added on top of that, within a minute, it made a big 180. And it was like, all right, we got to focus. We got to get this done. We got to get this done. When I have more to do, it's kind of like you have people to answer to. You have to get these things done. So I'm able to focus. But when I don't have that much, I can't focus. And it's not that I don't want to focus. It's just the way my brain is wired. It becomes very foggy. And so I can't actually get anything done.
Yeah. And then because I want to dig into your business a little bit and kind of what you're doing to get it started. But I'm curious, how do you like stay organized? Because some of these things are connected, but not really connected. So how do you make sure like you're doing all the things and not dropping the ball in any area?
Oh yeah, I'm very big on organization because like I also work remotely as the program associate, so I don't even work at a building, so I have to stay very on top of everything. I use Gmail. A little thing that I do is like if I see an email and I have not replied to it, I always keep it as unread. But if I reply to it and I'm still waiting for like a follow-up, or I need to follow up, I keep it as unread. And that lets me know that whenever an email is unread, I need to do something on next. So that's the technique I've been using through all my emails. I honestly have about like 7 different email addresses. They're all for something
I'm with
different.
you. Yeah. It helps like separate things, right? It's like
Yes,
they each have
really
different
does.
purposes. Yeah.
That's exactly what I say. And then within the arts business, I don't know why, but I really enjoy like the menial things. So I track every single expenses and every single income that comes. So even if it's like $1 that I had to pay to park in Flatbush, I will track it within my spreadsheets. And I also track it within QuickBooks. So like every month I will print out, the statement from my credit card. And even if it's like 3 pages, I will sit down and organize where each expense went into in the name of the place. And then I add them up and I figure out, what the income was, what the revenue, what the expense was, and what the profit was for the month. And then I also calculate, how much have I spent on food for the whole year? How much have I spent on materials and supplies for the whole year? Just to help me realize where the money is going to. And I've also started to track where my money is coming in from. Is it coming from residencies, from grants, from selling paintings, from the consulting? Because it really helps me strategize for the next year to figure out what to pursue. Like I know that in the summer, the consulting, like the art programs, summer camps, those bring a lot more revenue. So I focus a lot more on those within the summer because people are looking to create summer art programs. And then within the fall, that's really a time to focus on applying to opportunities. So I have a spreadsheets of various opportunities with the deadlines and put them into categories. So to help me figure out when to apply for things, when they're due. So I guess the software is QuickBooks. I use Google Drive is a big one. Spreadsheets I use a lot to stay organized. So it's nothing like expensive, honestly. It's a lot of them are free.
Yeah, but no, it's having you're speaking my language. It's like, but it's just having that system in place, right? And so then you kind of know where your money is going, know where your time is going, know where your focus should be going. And I feel like when you have a system that's kind of easy to maintain, it's like, it's easier to make sure like you're getting everything done and focusing on what you should focus on. So love it.
Yeah, and I also do color-coded calendars. That's a big one. Definitely color-coded Google calendars. I put every appointment on there. Like when I have work at the gallery is on there. When I have to be at meetings for Westbury Arts is on there. When I have my own personal things are on there. So I can look and I know the color red, say it's for Westbury Arts. The color yellow is for my personal practice. So that way I stay on top of every meeting, any place I have to be, even the phone call that we're doing now. It's on there. Yes.
No, yeah, I love it. I'm like an organization, like crazy person. So you are speaking my language. So let's just dig into your business, right? So you're starting this business that has 2 parts, the art practice and then the consulting piece. So how are you? Because it sounds like you're kind of right in the thick of it, right? So how did you figure out what exactly you wanted your business to be about? And what have you done to start to get business and put yourself out there?
So let me go back to college. So when I was in college, I took a lot of business classes. The good thing about me was I somehow didn't have to take any liberal arts classes, no math, no English, none of that. So I just used all my extra spaces and filled it up with business classes. And I had to create a lot of business plans. So I've created maybe 2 to 3 business plans of what I've wanted to do. And the issue I kept having with that was I was planning so much and not just starting. Because I know for a really long time, I want to work with artists to help them, strategize on them, specifically on their specific practice, how to bring in more revenue, who they should be partnering with, really focusing on the business side of it. So when I started the designing and managing art programs, I actually didn't plan to do it. What happened was I was meeting with someone. Was it in January? Yeah, it was in January. And, she was saying how you should be designing these art programs because the people here, they need it. And at first I was like, I don't really feel like, I have much experience. I don't have a degree in education and blah, blah, blah. And she was like, just go for it. So I had reached out to someone at the Wyandanch Plaza Association. And, I was like, would you be interested in putting together a mini winter break art camp at the plaza for the kids? And she was like, yes, we will do it. We will fund it. Let's get it happening. And I was so like, oh, shoot. Because at first I was thinking of having to go and find funding for it and all that things. But she was like, nope, let's make it happen. And so that was the first one I did, was putting together the winter break art camp. And the funny thing about that was I actually couldn't be there because I was doing art projects for Mark Moore's dance group during the winter break art camp, which took place on the same week. So I had to hire 2 other people to run the one at the Wyandanch while I had to be at work at the Mark Moore's dance group. And then what happened after that was I realized that I really enjoyed, managing them and putting them together, the curriculum, and teaching it. I feel, because at first I was like, I don't want to be a teacher, but I realized I enjoy teaching. I don't feel like I would teach within a school setting, an everyday kind of a thing. So what did I do after that? I'm moving forward, and then I started to tell some other people about what I was doing, and they thought it was very interesting. And then I had brought up the idea of let's do a pilot summer art camp at the plaza. And that's what happened the past summer. We put that together. It was 6 hours for 5 days a week for a month of art making. I had to hire another person to teach there because I was also teaching at another camp in the morning. So it was I was teaching from 8:30 to 11 at Westbury Arts Camp, and I had to come back to Wyandanch Art Camp to do 12 to 3 p.m. And then after that, I would be going to the mural from 4 to 8 p.m. to work on that. So it started out as me just talking to someone without even realizing that I could be doing those. And what's happening now is I'm just really focusing on getting the word out. And when people see, the results, they are reaching out to me and are like, oh, we would love to have this within our youth center. We would love to put together a program for this organization. And the other thing I've also started is private art lessons. I have my first one in about a week, and people are very interested in that. And I also want to start putting weekly art classes for young kids and teenagers close to Wyandanch. So I found an event space called Alm Space, New York. So we'll be partnering to put on together various art events, sip and paints, art classes, art workshops. So honestly, what I'm seeing is it's really just people knowing what you're doing and recommending you to other people. It's also just telling people and being very transparent about what you're doing. And, if they're interested, they'll come to you. And I try to get them to come to me. Because then it's easier. It's I didn't come to you, you came to me. So it gives you a bit of a leverage because then like they want to do it. So I try to find ways to have them come to me instead of me going to them, whether it's like strategizing how to, like, who I should get to talk to them about, or being at a space where they're at and having them see the results. So I'm also very big on strategizing. That's a thing I feel like most people might not realize. I'm a pretty quiet person, but I have to be quiet to observe and to strategize how to do this and that. So strategy is a big thing of mine. You must have a strategy.
No, I 100% agree. And I feel like where your business is going is kind of like organic, because I think, even me as a planner, sometimes you try to like plan things out, but sometimes you go with the flow a little bit too, right? Someone recommends something, you're like, I don't know, maybe. Then you reach out, you see if somebody's interested, they're interested, which then can lead to something else. And then that leads to something else, right? So it's like your business just from connecting with other people, it sounds like it's starting to like morph, because not only are you doing these workshops, you're actually doing paintings, you're like now doing like private lessons. Like, it's just, there's all of these now different aspects to what you're doing. And then you're just kind of like going with the flow without even having to like really put yourself out there that much, right? Because it's a little bit of word of mouth too, it sounds like.
Yeah, it's thankfully has been very organic. I remember I had my former mentor, Dr. Curran Graham. What she would always tell me is, you can it's good to plan, but just really focus on action. Don't plan and not take action. And like with the event space, that one was very organic. I'm on this group called Black Long Island, and I had posted something art related that I was doing, and she commented, that she would love to have this within her space. And we just chatted, and, she was saying, I called, asked her what she's interested in, and we're doing a free like art workshop. What's it called? Yeah, on Saturday. And then after that, we want to start offering classes. We were doing sip and paint events, and we want to also probably do like adult classes. But that connection I made with her was that I didn't really know of the space until I posted something within the Facebook group that she saw, which kind of aligned with something she wants to do in the near future. So she reached out to me, and now it's leading on to other things. So a lot of times, like, I feel like the people that I work with a lot, like the Carrie Goldberg, who works at the Nache Plaza Association, my relationship with her was very organic. I think she actually, she found out about me through like the Facebook group, but also when they were at a meeting, someone else that I had known was there with her, and they ended up talking about me. And then they were like, oh, Marie, and this and that. And they gave me my info. And then she was like, I'm putting this together. And then it leads on to something else. So I found that a lot of the relationships start without me like even knowing it's happening.
But that's good, right? Because I mean, there's good things being said when you're not there, like, she's amazing.
Yes. So I try to always think like you never know, like there could be like opportunities forming within you that you don't even know. So I try to be very, just put things out in the universe and be like I've always been saying how I want to go back to Haiti, but I want to go back and do something art related, something service wise. I've been saying this for about, a year. And now, I'm having like 2 opportunities that are coming up with people who would be interested in me going to Haiti and working with them. With the mural, I had been saying since the beginning of the year how I want to work on like a really big canvas. So that way they feel like they're like within the painting. And I laugh because I'm like, with the Broadway Mall mural, it's like the universe was like, is this big enough? Is 20 foot, 500 foot big enough?
Yeah. And then just one more question before we get to the wrap-up questions. You might still be kind of like working this out, but sometimes, especially with the artists that I talk to, pricing, right? A lot of times artists will like undercharge what they're worth, or end up doing a lot of things for free when they really should be charging for it. So how are you navigating through this? Because in order to really continue to do what you love and then kind of provide the services you want to provide, like regardless, you got to make money, right? Sometimes people don't like talking about that, but I'm like, but you need money. So how have you been kind of working through that?
Well, I'm very focused on making money through my art. That's one of my main things.
Good. Yes, that's what I love to hear. Yes.
Because what I do is, I have the jobs that I have to cover bills and savings. And then all the income I make from my business, I don't touch that at all. I don't use it. I just keep it within a separate account, save and invest. I'm very transparent with my pricing. I have the pricings on the website as a way, so that way people know that I'm not giving different people different prices. Meaning if I know you have more money, that I will charge you more than someone that I know might not have as much money. So like I have set pricings when it comes to teaching. So that would be like around $50 an hour. For the paintings, I have set pricings based on the size of the work and also based on the amount of time it takes to make it. But if you look at my 30 by 40 inch paintings, they range between $850 to $950. That's the range they stay within. But I have other paintings that are $4,000 that are much more bigger. That is still affordable, but I know that I'm not underpricing myself. It took a while to get to, figure out how much to price it. But I have seen people, who underprice a lot, who do a lot of things for free. I mean, I spent my college years doing free internships, doing a lot of volunteering, because I knew that would help me get experiences. So that way, when I graduated, I wouldn't just have the degree, but I would have all these other experiences to offer when applying for an opportunity. But I mean, I don't know. I definitely want to make money from what I'm doing, because then that allows me freedom to, if I want to like take some of what I've made and put on together like a free art program for someone, that allows me to do that. I have like some people who I have been working with for a while who really help me get them starting. So sometimes I give like a little bit of discount here and there, but I do have set pricings when it comes to like designing the programs. I have what I've also done is I'm having like an admin like charge, which would be like mine, and then also the teaching. Because what I was doing before was I was mixing them together, but the thing is I wasn't always teaching at the programs. So now this way, if I have to hire someone else to teach it, my my payment is separate from the teaching. But if I end up doing the admin and the teaching, then I get both of them together. So I'm starting to have set admin charge and set teaching pay rate charges. And I'm very pretty transparent about it. But sometimes people do come to me with a budget, like they have a set budget, and I try to work within that and try to give them what I can. But it's usually like I would create the proposals, tell them what the fee is going to be for the supplies, for the teaching fee, admin fee, and then I work with them around that. But I mean, honestly, I'm focusing on making money. I hate the idea that people think that just because I'm an artist, I apparently would not make a lot of money. But when I think about it, I actually make a lot more money doing the art stuff than, say, if I was working like when I do at the other spaces. Because the good thing within the arts is you can make a lot of money in short amount of times, but it's not stable.
Right.
But you have to be smart about that. So once you make, say if you make like $6,000 doing one thing, it doesn't mean you should just go and spend that. You have to,
because you don't know what's coming in next month.
Yeah, you have to have that saved, because maybe the next 5 months you don't make anything. But then after that 5 months, you make $15,000 on a project. That's the thing. But that's why I also have, my set stable jobs. So I don't have to worry on living on the arts income, because right now it's not stable. But I know in a few years, once I have more clients, like once I have weekly classes going on and I have recurring clients for the summer, art camps, for spring break art camps, then it starts to becoming a bit more stable, where you have money coming in on a like monthly basis, and you can know how much you're going to make. Then I would feel like, okay, then you can start taking money from it, because then you know money's going to be coming back in. But in the beginning, no, you should not. And you also have to keep it separate. Like, all the business things are separate from my personal stuff. I don't put them together at all. Keep
Smart.
them separate.
Just a couple wrap-up questions. The first one you've touched on already a little bit, but it's like, how do you stay organized? So since we've talked about it a little bit, I would say, like, maybe I'll rework the question is, what is like the one tool that maybe you didn't get to mention that also helps you like stay sane?
Helping me stay sane. A lot of people are like, okay, let me think. I don't think it's a material tool.
Oh, or even like a technique, or
honestly, painting helps me stay sane. Like creating art, because the type of work that I do, like when I do the very abstract work, I try to go out of reality for a bit. Like, I put on music, try to forget everything, and just paint without really much conscious thought, which allows my mind to relax a bit. I like to laugh a lot, so I actually, like, at nights, after like a long day, I'll just go on YouTube and watch funny videos and laugh, just to like release any stress that I may have. So painting, laughing, but I feel like I've also developed a sense, like a mindset towards everything, and try to have, like, I tell myself it's all about, like, perspective towards certain things and how I look at it, because nothing is either good or bad. It's really just how you perceive it to be. So I'm very careful with what I say to myself, because I'm reading a book about the power of the subconscious mind. So being careful about what you tell to yourself when you're alone, and just what you think about before you go to sleep. So I try to be very, I guess, mindful.
No, I love it. I
also talk to myself sometimes. That might sound funny, but I do talk to myself. I just try to give myself words of encouragement. If something bad happened, I talk to myself like, don't be so hard on yourself. It helps take a bit of pressure off and helps keep my mind clear. So yeah, laugh a lot if you can. Painting is a big. So it's funny because it helps me really stress. It also brings in money, so it's a pretty great thing.
Yeah. And then please just tell the listeners where they can find you, how they can connect with you. Yeah.
Okay. Well, Instagram, my name, it's Marie Saint-Cyr Art. It's MarieSaintCyr_ART. My website is my name, mariesaintcyrart.com. I'm very open because I have a lot of artists who reach out to me who are like, I had someone actually who visited my studio yesterday, an artist. It was funny because she brought her work and we ended up talking about her work and not my work. It was just funny, but it was nice because I was able to help her figure out what her next step should be, because she has been feeling stuck where she is for the past couple of years. And I was able, to talk to her and help her figure out some things she needs to be doing to take her art to the other level. And so she was very happy with that. But I'm very open to people reaching out to me if they have any questions. You can email me, send me a DM on Instagram. If you're local, I can meet up with them. They can visit my studio, paint with me if they want. So I tend to be very friendly, very open, and try to help out people. If they would like any advice on what they're doing, I would love to give some advice, help however I can.
Well, thank you. I really enjoyed this conversation. Thanks for being on the podcast.
Oh, it's my first podcast. I'm very excited. Thank you.
Okay, so impressive, right, you guys? I just love all the things she's doing. You know, in my conversation with her, she mentioned like several times that she's hired people either to help her with like a mural or that she helped hire people, of course, for like one of the workshops she put on. And that is really impressive because it's not easy to hire people, y'all, and hire the right help. So even though we don't dig into that in this episode, I think it just shows like how kind of passionate, dedicated, and on the ball she is. Another thing that I'm really impressed with is her organization skills, because it is super important to be organized, to know when you should show up for a podcast, for another type of interview, for a mural, for a job interview, for a business meeting, whatever. And you guys would be surprised how many people just don't show up. And it's normally because they're not organized. So I love what she had to say about that. And I also love that she tracks her finances, because that is huge. I'm actually trying to think through who I want on this season to talk to us about finance, because I try to have one finance person on per season, because you need to know where your money is coming from. It doesn't matter if you're doing this full time, if you have multiple hustles, it doesn't matter what your situation is. You need to know your money situation. It doesn't matter if you're I always talk to some stay-at-home moms. It's like, you still need to know all the money that's coming in and out of your house and what you have to spend every month. So money to me is like super key, and keeping track of the money in your household is very important. Having a system in place and knowing what's coming in and out regardless of your situation, I am a big proponent of. And if you guys have been listening to this podcast for a while, you know that. So I just loved what she had to say about her sitting down and really tracking her expenses, because I think that is it's the key to success in whatever you do. And lastly, I'll just say, I think she is another great example of networking, right? I've had several guests on the podcast, and really they were able to achieve some of their successes because of word of mouth, because they connected with people in person. I mean, sometimes people get lucky online, yes, but those in-person connections also are very key. I think it's a combination of how you put yourself out there online and in person. So I just loved her story. Be sure to check out her work. And if you, of course, want to figure out and learn how to organize your life to make time for your passion, head on over to nachesnow.com. I have a course over there. And then also you could sign up on my homepage just to get like a goal planning sheet, a free goal planning sheet just to start out with. But definitely check that out, because I want you to do what you're passionate about too. All right. So until next week, when I will bring you another amazing guest, have a beautiful week. Take care. Let us know on social if you like the episode. Bye.